Episode 1.
What's the Star Wars theme?
You don't want me to sing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Creativity, expression, problem solving, and creative work. First item up for bid, creativity as a force in life. You know, it's not just the realm of the artists. You know what I mean? And I think that human beings are drawn to create things. I think that's what we want to do.
Yeah. I think of my kids, like they're just making stuff up all the time, whether it's like Legos or drawing. Like my daughter, you know, she just draws like all kinds of stuff. Any animal she draws, it's got like wings on it. It's got like horns, or sometimes got sharp talons. Like she's embellishing on what is ever out there. And that's the creative process. Like it starts right there.
Yeah.
And then I personally feel that it kind of gets lost along the way as we sort of grow up, right?
Well, I was just about to say, I mean, I feel like that's where a lot of the conflict arises when we become adults, is that we get put into these situations, jobs, institutions where that personal creativity is squashed. And then there's like there's a conflict that's happening from within.
That starts at childhood, even just going through school.
Yeah.
And then by the time they're adults, it's already squashed.
It's gone.
Yeah. They're like, oh yeah, but in order to get hired for this thing, you actually need to be creative and solve this problem.
Okay, as a drummer, the dream gig is to play like with Sting.
Oh wow, okay.
And the reason is that, well,
Sting.
it's Sting, right?
Yeah.
But he's a guy who I feel like he's doing exactly what he wants to do, and people like it. Right? So you can be creative in your basement, and first of all, nobody knows about it. And secondly, even if they did, they would be like, what happened to that dude? You know? So like the people who are the most fortunate are the ones that are just doing their thing, and it seems to be appealing to a wide audience, if you will.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's probably feeling pretty good. I mean, he's making a lot of money and he's doing exactly what he wants to do.
Yeah.
But again, I think that a lot of people, the conflict arises when they don't have that freedom of expression.
So you're saying like creativity is an inherent part of everybody, and then based on sort of the way society's panned out, it just kind of, most people don't actually get to express their creativity?
I mean, yeah, kind of.
I can kind of agree with that.
And it could even be like, you know, you're working at the gas station or whatever, and you do the job. How do you get, do you get creative with sweeping the floor? I mean, you just don't have an outlet, you know?
Yeah.
And then I think what people do then maybe is they farm out the creative outlet to others. I think that's why people are so drawn to music and sports and whatever, because it's a way to kind of live through somebody else who is the embodiment of like total creative, a mushroom cloud of creative energy.
Yeah.
And they want to attach to it,
That's almost also implying that there's like a big barrier to entry to actually being able to express yourself creatively. Like for music, right? You got to practice the shit out of your instrument to make it sound the way you want it to sound.
Okay.
And that takes a lot of practice. Like to become an expert, like even, in fitness stuff too, it's like 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
Right? That's a lot of investment. So I think what you're saying makes sense about the farming it out part.
Is there value in people finding an expressive outlet, even if it's not very good?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like taking a drawing class or a painting class somewhere and just spending a few hours a week just doing something that's completely unproductive.
Because, it's still productive. It's not going to be like in a museum maybe, but like the act of doing that, like I haven't seen, at least for the stuff that I've done, it just feels good to do it. Like it's the doing that's the good part, you're like, oh, okay, whatever. As long as I guess people aren't overly attached to it. Like, I better be an expert by the time I'm done with this class, because then like expectation creates this negative outcome when in reality it could just be good for the sake of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a recurring theme in teaching music for a lot of years is that when you get the adult student, and tell me if might be true in what you do as well, they come into the class and they go, yeah, my parents forced me to take piano lessons. I frickin' hated it.
Yeah.
And then I quit as soon as I could.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm 38, 40, 56, whatever it is,
Yeah.
I wish I had stuck it out and learned how to do it. And now I want to learn how to do it, right? So they're like coming back to this thing because they realized, oh man.
Do they say why?
Why they quit?
Why they want to do it?
Oh. Yeah, good question. Why? I think they feel like they just missed it, like they missed out, and now they understand the value of it.
Mm-hmm.
And now they don't have the sort of the ability to express. They don't have the ability to express.
Yeah,
So they're looking for a vehicle to express, if it's playing the piano or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So that, to me, that's the part right there, like the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what it is. You just need to have something.
Yeah. Yeah. I think of those things like a language, like movement is a language, like you're expressing yourself through your body, and then like, do you speak music? Do you speak movement? Do you speak German or whatever the case may be, right? Any of those things need practice to develop your vocabulary in that language, any of those things. And like, it's one of those things also where when you sort of tasted that at some point and then it goes away,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh man, like where is that? Because you want to act like you want to be able to do the thing. Like, this happens in movement all the time. Oh, I can't pick up my grandkids, or I can't carry my groceries in one trip, or whatever the case may be, right? And they're like, I want to be able to do that. It feels good to do that without feeling like, oh, I'm going to hurt myself, or like, do I have the balance to do, like stuff like that. But going back to that question, why, like I ask a lot of my clients that when they're like, I have this goal. Okay, why? And then they start thinking about it like, oh yeah, why is that, right? And that's where the power to make a change and like make it consistent comes from. Because if you're remembering that why, you're like, okay, as a kid, I hated it because my parents forced me to do it, and like I just didn't want to do it. I want to go play with my friends or whatever. Now I'm thinking, oh yeah, it's going to feel good to be able to express myself a certain way. And that's going to be the motivation to get you through the practice. That doesn't feel like all that much fun.
Yeah.
Same with movement stuff, right? It's like, is it boring to run on a treadmill for zone 2 cardio? Absolutely. But do you do it because the why is there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's something that I try to get my clients to think about. It's like what's the why?
Yeah.
Makes me think of the Matrix, actually. Yeah.
Well, this leads me to, so first of all, kind of some outcomes of this practice, of a creative practice. And so in my notes, I have, developing hand skills. If you're doing something physical, like I like to work with wood. Also, I like to build things with wood. And some people are into mechanical stuff, working on cars, whatever. But there's a whole bunch of problem solving that occurs. I mean, it actually happened when I made the sign. I'm like, okay, let me get out the jigsaw because I need to cut a circle.
God.
I got to find the center. How do you find the center? You take the square and you align and you create an X in the middle. That's where the center is. I need a 22-inch circle. So you measure 11 inches from the thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like a bunch of problem solving skills, which I think are super valuable and applicable to many areas of life. And then you have to physically do the thing. And then, the blade on my saw was broken. So then I had to find it and then put in the new one and remember how it works, right?
Yeah.
But I just love the tactile nature of motor learning and problem solving with your hands. So to talk about that, because you do that too. I've seen your backyard.
I weld. I build. I've built tons of furniture in my house. I built a bunch of gym equipment. I prototyped a bunch of stuff. And yeah, I mean, it feels really good to think about like, okay, I'm trying to solve a problem.
Yeah.
Right. What's the problem? All right. I teach a Spartan training course. In the Spartan race, people need to climb walls. So I'm like, all right, I got to design a wall that can handle the weight of one or maybe two people.
Mm-hmm.
I got to design it so that it doesn't fall over.
Mm-hmm.
I got to make sure it's strong enough to handle people doing weird stuff to the wall. Like
Right.
in a recent class, I had us like kicking the wall as hard as we could to simulate some zombie apocalypse stuff. Right?
Of course.
So I'm thinking, okay, it's got to be strong. It's got to be this, and then I measured out what can my space handle? What's my rack like? Blah, 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 So it's, I get the creativity aspect of like, here's the problem. I'm going to solve it this way. And by solving it this way, here are all the things that I can do with it now.
Yeah.
Not only can I teach my Spartan class, now we can throw medicine balls at it. Now we can
Over it.
We can rebound stuff up. We can climb it. We
Yeah.
can traverse around it.
Yeah.
Right. We can use it as target practice. Like,
Yeah.
I've had classes where I lay it down and then we have to like kind of hold it while people climb over top
Yeah,
to
yeah,
simulate
yeah.
some different stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like all this stuff. So now it's, it's like this big world that came out of a single thing,
Uh-huh.
a wall.
Yeah.
Right. And then it becomes like, what can we do with that?
Yeah. But I love how, you had an idea for something and then you manifested it. You made it real
Mhm.
with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all the things that you have to overcome just to make a thing, even just what looks simple like a wall, it's not that simple.
And actually back then I didn't even have any good tools. I had to like set up a weird, circular saw thing. It's funny.
You just figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just figure it out. And to allude to a conversation we had not too long ago about thinking,
Mhm.
right? And how much energy that burns. But, mental iteration is what I kind of, how I would classify it. But I just love thinking about stuff.
Mhm.
And I love problem solving and being creative inside the arena of my cranium,
Mhm.
Yeah,
you were mentioning how like
it's a
getting
playground.
to bed is like, and having that space where you're cut off from the world
Totally.
is like a wonderland.
It's a wonderland. Like anything can happen in there, man.
Yeah.
And I feel like, this is going to sound funny. I think people need to learn how to play with themselves, man. We have this like capacity for limitless thought.
Yeah.
And instead, all of that.
It's interesting that you say it that way. Like, I always try to tell my kids that the size of the universe is the limit of your imagination.
Uh-huh.
Because just to even conceptualize that, already that's so like, we're never going to see the edge.
Yeah.
But we have to think about that. And that lives in here.
Mm-hmm.
The entirety of that lives in here. We can never test it. We're not going to go to the edge and be like,
Yeah.
all right, here's the edge. That lives in here.
Yeah.
And so much of what we as a species and community and like all this stuff, it starts here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's
Well,
like, I
and-
see this actually in my clients too, when I don't do this often because it makes people really uncomfortable. But when I say, okay, we're going to pick an exercise
Mhm.
and everyone in the class is going to pick an exercise. As soon as I do that, everyone's eyes are like, what do I do? What do I choose? Like everyone starts freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, fine. So we'll do that. And then the next iteration of that is like, okay, like, what do you think would be a good exercise for this muscle?
Ah,
And they're like, and it becomes this like scary place to think about something like there's a wrong answer,
right.
when in reality, exercise is something that we've made up to account for the stuff that we're not getting in the wild.
Right.
Right. If you're picking up logs and rocks and moving, farming for stuff, whatever,
Yeah.
you're going to be a strong mofo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and probably the other thing that happens is that when you have people pick the exercise, now they've got some ownership in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, maybe, I don't know if they're more committed but they feel more connected probably
Yeah.
to the activity, I would imagine.
Yes and no, sometimes. Have you ever tried that with your students? Like have them compose something versus like just learn a piece and play it? Like,
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, that's kind of what one of my classes is really all about.
how do they respond?
I mean, yeah, how do they respond? I think they get overwhelmed. It's kind of like the blank page effect.
Yeah.
They're like, where do I start?
What can go on here?
Yeah. Which is why I think in an instructive sense, and I know that you do this as well, there's kind of like a this and then this and then this. I'm going to put you in a box. I'm going to contain you. And in that limitation, we'll learn how to create something musical. And we're going to get to that in the second half here. But yeah, it's an interesting thing because music's hard.
What do you think makes it hard? Like, why?
I think that there are a lot of moving parts, and I think that you have to learn the same concepts a bunch of different ways before it synthesizes. So like you're basically like talking about problem solving. There's a lot of problems to solve, not in a negative way, but in a very practical way in terms of like, what key are we in? What's the groove? How do these things fit together? Where does the bass line come from? And
that's so interesting.
So I can tell you the answer to all of those questions, but I can tell you that same answer 47 different ways.
Yeah.
And it's not until you get to 45 where people start to go, oh shit.
Yeah.
Now I understand what he's talking about.
See, okay. Like you saying that, I think highlights a big difference between you and I. Like you are a professional, amazing musician. I'm just like a little old guitar player and like I sing, right? So you're saying like all these moving parts and like, what key are we in, all this stuff. And like, that's your perspective. Like you've got this big world in your head and I'm sitting here like, what are you talking about moving parts? Like, I'm just going to play a little, thing. Like it's just me. And like, that's like a huge example of that sort of difference. And I think people would say the same thing. Fitness is hard.
Yeah.
What are all the moving parts? Like,
What
muscle does this with this combined with this? Like, what's a stabilizer? What's a mover? All that stuff.
There have been so many times when you show me something and I feel like a complete idiot. It looks so simple and you model it and it's like, well, he's just doing that. And then when I try to do it, I'm like, I can't even do it. And it's not until like maybe the third set where I start to feel like, okay, now I understand what's going on. And then what happens is that I do it and I'm feeling really good about myself. And then you're like, oh, drop that knee down. And I'm like, oh my God. And of course it gets exponentially more difficult because you see all, know all, you know exactly what I'm not doing quite right. It's amazing.
I do that on purpose because I think layering learning is really valuable.
Yeah.
Because you have to have that little mini win before you can get that next piece and it sticks.
We're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing. It's like first I need you to walk and then we'll run.
Yeah.
But this is the building block A and then I'll show you building block B or whatever.
Right.
So
that's cool. I really love how you explained that musical part. And I'm glad we had this opportunity to see that. Yeah. Because I think it's such a good parallel for the music and the muscle part, right? Like just the world that is each of these things.
Ready to get stronger, healthier, and see real results? At 3Fit, every program is built around you. Our nationally certified coaches create personalized training plans, expert nutrition guidance, and supportive group classes for every fitness level. Start with our popular 6-week challenge and discover why we've been helping people transform their lives for over 20 years. No long-term contracts, just expert coaching and real results. Visit 3Fit today and take your first step toward becoming your stronger self. All right, so we just did a commercial.
Yeah.
Now we're coming back from the commercial.
Yeah. Okay, so we're rolling, right?
Yeah.
Is that the same leg you had crossed?
It doesn't matter. I could sit like this if I wanted to.
My point as your trainer is make sure you're even.
Oh, so
yeah, there you go. Because like that'll build muscle imbalance. If you're sitting there like this for like an hour, right, and you do this for like 10 minutes, right. Now one side is going to get stretched and weird and stuff. Well,
So I have an issue with my right hip. It's super tight. I don't know if it's the sartorius. I don't know if it's something in the hip capsule. If it's actually tendon, joint, whatever it might be.
Okay.
But what you have just demonstrated in a really small way is like you analyzing the situation and constructing or instructing kind of a training regimen. So I ask you, the topic is creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen you work. It's amazing. I've been to you so many times, and I don't want to say we never do the same thing twice, but we basically never do the same thing twice. It's incredible. It's like you have a repertoire of stuff, and I don't know if it's a repertoire or if you're just making shit up.
Most of the time it's made up on the spot based on what the client is showing me right there.
Okay, so can you talk about that? Like how do you develop a training regimen for a client?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't always like that. I guess when I first started, I was like, oh, here's the list of personal training exercises, bicep curls, whatever. And as I, went through and got my degree in kinesiology and stuff, I started to think about the body very differently. It's like a bicep curl is not, nothing in the animal world or we're animals. We have to like go back to that, right? Nothing is thinking, oh, I'm going to bicep curl this banana to my mouth and like chomp on it. No, right? They're not thinking, oh, I'm going to row this thing out of the ground and then eat it. No. That's not how it works, right? So any movement that we do is to accomplish a goal, right?
Uh-huh.
If I'm going to do this a bunch of times, yes, it's going to build some muscle in forearm and bicep and stuff like that. But like, why? So if a client comes in, they're like, oh, I want to, let's just say they have a knee problem. Or like, let's say you have a hip problem, right? Because that's kind of a relevant thing. So we go, okay, let's look at the hip. How do you move it?
Mm-hmm.
What constraints do you have? Why is it moving that way based on like your history,
Mm-hmm.
car accident, or was it like a fall, or was it overuse issue, right? As a drummer, I'd be thinking about you're stomping away at your foot with the bass pedal since it's your right leg. I'd be thinking about stuff like you carrying equipment around, how long you're sitting on a weird throne without, good support. You're having to hold yourself up with your hip flexors while you're doing this. Like all those things go into my thinking about what does this client really need?
Mm-hmm.
So you can come in and say, my hip hurts. And I'm going to go, why? And then you're going to say something. I'm like, okay, what else? Say something. What else? Say something. What else? How long has it been like that?
Yeah.
How long have you been experiencing pain? Like all these things. And then I take all the information. I go, okay, here's the big picture. You've been doing this and this for this long. It seems like, right, because I can't like X-ray, MRI into your hip.
Yeah,
I also can't feel it. But I'll start to synthesize that and go like, okay, it seems like this and this and this correlates, right? And then we'll do some tests. So now when it comes to picking exercises for this thing, I'm not thinking about it like we're going to do a squat or a thing. I'm thinking about it, how can we stimulate the muscles that are likely responsible for the discomfort?
Mm-hmm.
How can we assess the joint mechanics through movement or muscular contraction stuff around the joint that's going to stimulate possibly that joint pain?
Mm-hmm.
And then we can kind of narrow it down and go, okay, these are the things that really cause pain. This is what exacerbates it. These are the things that are probably going to make it feel better.
Yeah.
Because every muscular action has an agonist.
Right.
Right. So, and then some of that can be imbalanced. Right.
Yeah.
So when I just pointed out, like you just went back to your left leg crossed over, right? You're probably used to that.
Yeah.
And I called you out on that. It's not to like put you on the spot.
No, I feel terrible now.
Yeah. You should. No. But I mean, it's to recognize that.
No, it's true. It's like
so many people come in with these imbalances, right?
Yeah.
So let's say we didn't fix that and your left hip stays really flexible, almost loose.
Yeah.
And your right hip then starts to have to do the work that your left hip is not every step you take. So now, let's say you take 10,000 steps. That's 10,000 reps of your right hip doing something that your left hip should be doing. Or 5,000 if we split the difference, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think people are thinking about it that way.
No, it's true. That's true. It's like this kind of snowball effect, right?
Yeah. And then you accumulate that over how many years?
Yeah.
Right? And then it makes sense that like, oh my God, like I had a client who had some hip replacements recently, both of them within the course of like a year and a half, and this client's older, lots of history of favoring one particular part of her body because of a previous injury. So that created this whole cascade of stuff that built up over the years, which resulted in joint degradation and then hip replacement.
And then did the traits or the habits continue even after the hips had been replaced? Would be the question.
Well, not with me, because we're on top of that.
Right.
And thankfully, I've been their trainer.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole process, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like literally 2 weeks after surgery,
Yep.
I'm working with them in addition to their PT stuff, and then we're working on other stuff.
So to bring this home, and I'll just because I want to give you your flowers here. I went through a couple knee surgeries, and then I remember the second time you said to me, "Okay, we're going to train you for the surgery."
Yeah.
And you had me doing all this stuff, and I recovered so much. But now could maybe, I don't know, it was less than, who knows, but I'm telling you, man, like as opposed to 9 months, it was like 3 months recovery.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, what a difference that makes. And so now I want to shout it out to everybody who's going through something like that. Like, go see the trainer before the surgery.
Yeah. So many people are like, oh, I got to get in shape before I see a trainer. No, that's our job.
Right.
That's like what we're there to do safely, so you don't keep injuring yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Did I answer the creativity part of that?
Yeah. I mean, sure. And then let
me add one more thing.
Yeah,
I
go
think
ahead.
so. Like when I'm designing for like a class or something, this may be going to be a little more tangible. I look at my roster, I see who's coming, and like I really like to know my clients, so I can kind of program at least for the people that are coming.
Okay, let me just stop you right there.
Okay.
You look at your roster and you know your clients and you prepare for the exact people that are going to come that day.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not happening at a
Okay.
lot of places. I'll just keep it generic. That's not happening in a lot of places.
Okay.
And this is one of the things that I love about you, because I know that you're on this level.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I want people to have a really great experience.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so you know who's coming,
Yeah.
and you've already like you're thinking about all this stuff.
Yeah. Like this person, they like this thing, or
Yeah.
everyone's got some ache and pain, something like that, right? So
Yeah.
I also think about that, like, okay, this person said they had some wrist issue from pickleball earlier. Like,
Yeah.
all right, let me make some exercises, or at least let me have some backup modifications that I can offer them when the rest of the group is doing something.
Wow.
Right? So I'll think about all that, and then I usually write up like 4 circuits. Each one is about 12 to 15 minutes long in my head, or at least that's what I'd like them to be, right? And so our goal is to accomplish at least 3 sets, maybe 4, depending on the number of exercises per circuit, which I usually keep to between like 2 to 4. Mainly because, more than 4, people start forgetting the form that I demo.
Yeah.
Less than 2, and it becomes really boring.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're going to do this thing for 12 minutes. It's only one thing.
Yeah.
Which, for strength training type stuff, very specific strength training, that's pretty much what it's going to be like. But in a group class, we don't always do that. So then, I create this list and I'm like, okay, how does circuit 1 interact with circuit 2? How does circuit 2 interact with circuit 3? Usually circuit 4 I use as like a finisher or like a fun game or something to leave people feeling like, oh, that was fun. Like the rest of their tiredness from circuit 1 through 3, like, and then circuit 4 is like, all right, let's play a game. Let's make it fun. Let's make it creative.
Okay, can I relate this to something in music? And comedy?
Okay.
So comedians, if they write a good long form joke, there's something that happens at the end that points back to what happened in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And in music, I play Caribbean steel pan music from Trinidad and Tobago. There's a singing competition called Extempo,
Okay.
where the singer comes out on stage and the judge comes out with an envelope, opens it up, and there's a topic.
Yeah.
And then the band starts do 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 dee da do, and they just start singing on the spot to whatever the topic was, and they have to do 3 verses.
Oh, that's so cool.
And the third verse has to connect to the first verse, like if you're really good.
Yeah.
So I see the parallels here between that and what you're doing when you're creating a program for people. You're thinking the long game, right?
Because what I do, and this goes back to what you said earlier about we don't do the same thing twice.
Yeah.
I want to clarify that in a program when we're especially in like a personal training program, we will do the same thing multiple times to progress with it.
Yeah. Right.
We'll increase our weight, particular thing, or maybe increase the reps, or like increase complexity of the particular movement. like say, deadlift to like single leg deadlift or like Romanian deadlift or some aspect, right? But in the group class, I'm like, we're not like a jazzercise class or something like that where some people are so good they could teach the class.
Yeah.
Right. I want people coming in and to being like, all right, what's Marcel going to torture us with today?
Right.
And like keep it exciting that way. So I'll actually go and review the last like couple months of a particular class and be like, all right, I've done this. All right, let me pull this element. Okay, that's cool. Like, ooh, let's combine this thing. Like I'll think about it like that.
So again, in jazz music, improvisation, we talk about vocabulary.
Okay.
And I tell students like, well, an improvisatory vocabulary means that you're kind of like Santa Claus. You've got like a bag of toys, right?
Yeah.
And do you have a small bag or do you have a big bag of toys? And to create the big bag of toys means you have lots of vocabulary, and at any moment you can go in and you can pull out whatever thing you need to in that moment.
Yeah.
I think you've got a big bag.
I try really hard. Well, it's okay.
No, it's the same. It's like, I know that you're like, you have all these things that could happen.
Yeah.
And you're able to just like,
there's regressions, progressions of everything, right? But like this goes back to what I was trying to say earlier, which is exercise is something we make up. I get to pick whatever it is, right? I feel like Neo from the Matrix, like, you could do like, and this is the way I understand the body is like, people think, I got to be really strict with my form. So blah. And then they do their curls like right here.
right.
I'm like, life doesn't happen right there. Life happens over here sometimes. Sometimes it happens over there.
Yeah, that's right.
Have you ever put a car seat in the car while you're trying to hold another kid? Like, you get into these weird positions.
Yeah.
But that's the training.
Right.
That's the exercise. That's the new iteration of that, And I have people tell me all the time, like, how'd you come up with that?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Hey, man,
I fell off something the other day and I was like, that's a cool way to fall. All right, let's do this.
it's a 20-pound bag of rice, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So
Out of the trunk of the car.
that's something that I'd really like everyone to take away.
Yeah.
When they think about exercising, right? There's no wrong or right. And like form is like also, I think, this kind of myth that goes into like sort of creatively thinking about. Because even COVID taught us this, right? How did people work out without weights and like a gym and stuff? Like I was on Zoom. All right, grab a pencil, grab like a jug, fill it up with water, grab a pillowcase, put a bunch of stuff in it.
Yep.
We're going to swing it around. We're going to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And people are like freaking out. Like, what? I'm like, yeah.
It's been there all along.
Yeah. I'm like, all this stuff is in your house.
Yeah.
Like right there.
Yeah.
We'll do stuff in the gym and like, we'll use some sticks for something and people are freaking out about it. And I'm like, yeah, this is really expensive. I don't think you guys can afford this. It's a PVC pipe. It's really, like you got to go through a supplier from this person.
Right.
And they start laughing, and I'm like, no, but seriously,
Yeah.
like you can make exercise happen out of anything.
Yeah.
If you have that sort of creative intention.
Yeah.
Can you connect to your body? Can you make this thing, right? We knew how to make these muscles work before we had names for them.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to, pick up, pull, push, throw, all that stuff. Right. So I don't want people to be attached to like the labels of, I got to do this exercise this way. It's got to follow this program, whatever. Just like move your body and like feel it.
Yeah.
And then you're going to start to express and create and all this stuff, like this other story with your body. It's the way it should be.
I do see a lot of parallels. The follow-up, I guess, on my side would be...
Like, how do you compose?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, writing music. And the other day when we were talking about it, I said that sometimes I get to the end and I don't know how I got there, which I think is kind of like the highest order of getting enough vocabulary, getting enough experience where you're not really thinking about components or parts anymore. Like I know that you think that I'm being not overly complicated, but that I have too many thoughts. Or I don't know what you think about.
How about you ask me what I think?
What I'm trying to say is that I don't it's not a judgment thing. Like there are people who don't know the language who can make incredible music, obviously, right?
Yeah.
I think they actually do know the language. They just don't have a word for it.
Yeah.
Or they didn't formally study music theory and whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like if it sounds good, it is good, right? But, you know, in terms of problem solving, if I need to write a piece of music, very first thing for me always is that I'm, you know, like you're thinking about your clients, I'm thinking about either a person, a mood, or an atmosphere, right? So if I'm thinking about a tune, maybe it's for or about somebody. So I'll think about, well, what are they like, and what sounds like the way they are,
Wow.
and then I'll look for those kinds of things, right? And I remember back to the left leg. I remember studying with this really great composition instructor at Wichita State, Dr. Walter Mays. And I was going in there and I was doing stuff on my computer.
Yeah.
And I quite literally would close my eyes and go like this. No. Oh, that's cool. And then I would sequence something and I would take it into the lesson. And go ahead.
Real quick. I just want to say that like one of my favorite stories is that song you composed out of, I think you had to do it for a school or something. You were trying to turn your keyboard on.
Yeah.
And then see if it was like on, and you had to, you know, because you had to wait for it to sort of warm up. And
Yeah.
you're like, "Blah." Like you just kind of were mashing on the keys and you're like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
And then that became like a big bass for the song, like a root for it.
That was the foundational element. That's creativity with no judgment.
Okay, so that's different than like
That-
thinking about, because
Yeah.
I guess if you're closing your eyes and you're like plunk, plunk, plunk,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, that's different. So the point of that was, and then we can go back to the other one, is that I took it to him and I kind of, you know, went into I'm really happy to show him this thing that I think is really cool.
Yeah.
And we play it. He gets to that part. And I go, oh man, I just love that chord. And he goes, well, what chord is it?
Yeah.
And I go, well, it's the one where you like this. And he goes, but what is it? And I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I got lucky, right? I was just like searching, and my ears were guiding me, which is cool. But in the kind of more a scholarly sense, he was like, well, look, how are you going to repeat your success if you don't even know what it is?
Yeah.
So you have to become aware of what this thing is so that you can in the future repeat that same success or that feeling. You know, for me, harmony, I love harmony, even though I'm a drummer.
Yeah, but you're a composer.
Drummers, you know, we're not that smart. But I love chords, man. I love harmony. So I think that it expresses a lot of emotion and complex emotions.
Yeah.
So I can play chords that feel happy, sad, but I can also make chords that feel like, I don't know, like really complex. And they bring out complex feelings in me. So if I want that feeling, I need to know how to repeat that feeling. So I need to know what that is.
Okay, you're saying exactly what I feel like I've been missing in my music. Because I do what you were describing, where I just kind of plunk around. I'm like, oh, okay, I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why it sounds that way.
Yeah.
And I can't reproduce that feeling somewhere else on the fretboard or something when I'm playing guitar. And I feel starved. But I also like kind of make the conscious choice. Okay, well, I could invest a lot of time in this, or I could play with my kids. So I don't know. I'm not trying to like.
No,
I want to keep going, but I
get that.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, so the other idea was that I'm writing to try to like represent an atmosphere or a feeling or whatever it might be. And that can come through playing chords, or it can come through a groove, or it can come a lot of different ways. I'm not a melody first guy because I'm not a singer. So
Interesting.
I can play melodies and I that basically to me feels like improvisation. It is improvisation.
Okay.
But often I need like a tapestry. I need a carpet to sit on.
Okay.
So for me, the carpet,
And that comes from chords and stuff?
it comes from harmony and groove and bass line. And then on top of that, I'm like, okay, now let me find a melody that interacts with, connects with, blends with, works with that, that carpet.
Yeah.
And I really like that aspect of writing music, because I can improvise, but I'm not like a great improviser. Like I can't like blow like a jazz musician can just really rip it.
Yeah.
That's not me. But give me some time alone in the shed, and I'll come out with something. And they say that great composers, their music sounds improvised, and great improvisers play in the moment something that sounds composed.
Interesting.
So there's like a structure there. I need more time, because I don't have the vocabulary, being that I'm mostly a drummer and I'm not a singer, I'm not a melodician. So it takes me a little bit longer to get there, but I love that I can craft something that I really like. And for that reason, I think I like arrangement. I like the unfolding. I like the storytelling of a composition where I can take you on a journey, And for me, improvisation is a colorful component of a composition, but it's not the only thing.
Okay. When you say arrange, do you mean like arranging what's already existing, or like creating your own arrangement?
Creating my own arrangement. So one of the things that I teach my students about composition is to write literally anything and make sure it sucks.
Okay.
So just write something bad. Now come back 3 days later, and I want you to pretend that this thing was written by somebody else.
Oh yeah.
What if somebody said, "Hey, I've got this tune. Can you help me with it?"
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
And then you start arranging it. Okay, this is all right. I see what you're doing here. What if we changed that chord?
Yeah.
What if we did a bass line that accentuated? And then you take your song and you arrange it and you basically make it great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's cool. That's a really cool idea.
But I think it's important to just like poop out the bad version.
You got to start with something.
You got to start with something.
Yeah.
And sometimes the end result is not even anything like what you started with, but it's like it's an impetus. It's a way to get started.
You can almost be even more creative once you have like something there.
The limitation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The limitation is, because that's like the exponential, right? Like going from 0 to 1 is infinite.
Yeah.
But 1 to 2 and so on is much less intense, right? So just getting something out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I don't know if that answers the question or not, but
I mean,
to be continued.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to keep continuing making music.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep programming different exercises, right? So
we both have our creative outlets.
Yeah.
You have many.
So do you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why.
Actually, it's funny how often I'm helping people think about fixing parts of their house while we're training. They'll be like, "Hey, Marcel, what do you think about this?" I'm like, "Okay, let me see a picture." And we'll start talking about stuff. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's creativity.
Yeah.
Thanks for spending some time with us on the Mind, Muscle, and Music podcast. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please subscribe, leave a review, and share the podcast with someone who could use a little more mind, muscle, or music in their life. We'll see you next time.